welcome to today's training. We're going to talk about a volunteer comeback plan. I'm jumping online a few minutes early because I want to have some fun together and show you a fun game. I demoed this game this morning in the coffee chat, but if you missed it, I want you to see it. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Why don't you do me a favor and tell me in the Facebook comments right now, where are you joining from? What state are you joining from? If you're outside the United States, tell us what state outside the United States you're joining from. So glad you're here. If you're catching this later on YouTube or on the podcast, welcome. But to all of you that are joining me live on Facebook, a big welcome. I'm excited to talk to you about a your volunteer comeback plan. I hope that you get a lot of training or you receive a lot of value from this short training. I'm expecting that we'll be online together for about 30 minutes today. There's a brand new game at Kids Matter, and it's called Look the Other Way. Now, this game, I'm telling you what, it is a fun one. Here's the deal. You have all the kids stand up. Once they are I've never seen a game like this. This was created by Andrew Brooks. He created it for the kids in his church. And I've not seen one hit Kids Matter in a while that brings the energy level of a room up like this one does. So what you do is you have all the kids stand up, and they have to do opposite of what the screen says to do. So if the screen says look up, they look down. Screen says look, they look down, they look up. If it says look left, they look right. If it says look right, they look left. And there are 7 rounds to this game, and they get faster every time. So what I want you to do, if you're in a place right now where you can stand up, I want you to literally stand up, and I want to see how you do on this game. I've been playing this with my girls at home, and they are addicted. Okay, stand up. If you're driving, don't play the game, please, okay? Only if you're a place where you can stand up. Let's see how you do. Round 1.
Right, down,
The opposite way.
up, down, up, down, right, down, left,
I'll play along with you.
up, right, down.
All right, now it's going to get faster. Round 2, we're getting faster.
Down, right, up, down,
Now, all right, keep going.
up, right, left, down, left, up, right.
All right, now we get faster. I'm going to watch you play. I really can't see it.
Up,
See how you do going faster.
right, down, left,
How you doing?
up, down, up, right, down, left, up, right.
And it keeps going faster and faster and faster. This game is called Look the Other Way. Look the Other Way. Now there we go. Turn my camera off. Sorry about that. It's called Look the Other Way. I pushed the wrong button on my screen. If you go to Kids Matter, it's featured right up here at the top. Look the Other Way. You can also scroll down. You're going to scroll past the most popular downloads right now, and you're going to go to the games category, and there it is. Look the Other Way. Lots of great Father's Day stuff on here, friends. If you're still trying to pull things together for Father's Day, you're going to find a lot of good content here for Father's Day. Great countdown timers, pre-service videos, worship videos, some good curriculum and teaching units. Got some brand new family discipleship tools in the last several days, talking to kids about things that matter. This is a resource for parents. A lot of great stuff here at Kids Matter. Welcome. Have you told me where you are joining from. I'd love to hear where you're joining from right now. I would also love to hear from you in the comments. In fact, here's what we're going to do. I want y'all to tell me let's rephrase that. What is the biggest lesson, Drew Blank, the biggest lesson you have learned as a children's ministry leader during this pandemic? What is the biggest lesson you have learned as a children's ministry leader during this pandemic? Leave a comment on Facebook. Here's the deal. I'm going to pick two of you random. Once we're done in about an hour, I'll pick two of you. I'm going to give you each a $10 gift card to kidsmatter.com. Okay. So what you need to do, write down what is the one biggest lesson you have learned during this pandemic as a children's ministry leader. Type that in the comments right now, Facebook. Tell me. Once we are done, I'll give everybody about another 15 or 20 minutes, maybe a half an hour. And then what I will do is I will pick two of you and give you a $10 gift card to kidsmatter.com. The topic of the day, your volunteer comeback plan. As churches are beginning to regather, volunteers, we hope, are regathering as well. I've been talking to a lot of kids pastors these days. I was on the phone with a children's pastor at a large church outside of Cincinnati, Ohio yesterday, who was telling me how he has restructured some things to help motivate his volunteers to come back. And they tried it. Sunday was the first Sunday and it worked. Now, for some of you, I talked to another kids pastor today on our coffee chat, Matt Cannon. They're not going to regather as a children's ministry in person until January 2021. Now, whether you have already regathered or you are in the process or it's coming soon or it still seems like it's way out there, you need to have a volunteer comeback plan, because you know this as well as I do, friends. Volunteers are essential in children's ministry. I think you can go as far as saying they are the lifeblood of children's ministry. How long can you live without blood? Not very long, right? The Bible talks about that life is in the blood. You've got to have blood to survive. Volunteers are the lifeblood of your ministry. You cannot survive without them, and you need a comeback plan. Now, I'm going to share with you some principles. Your job is to take these principles and contextualize them to your ministry. You may want to, I am broadcasting this from the Ryan Frank Facebook page to the I Love Kidmin Facebook group, because you might want to share this training, and you can't share it from just I Love Kidmin because it's a closed group. So we are starting this out in the Ryan Frank Facebook page. So you can get the link there, share it with your volunteers, because you may want to at least have your core team watch this training and then really talk about what does our comeback plan look like. 7 points. Number one, you need to evaluate. You have, I hope, learned through this pandemic a few things. Now, one of the silver linings of COVID-19 in this pandemic is it has given each of us the opportunity to pause, to truly step back and evaluate. Evaluating is essential for growing ministry leaders. If you are going to grow as a Kidmin leader, whether you are brand new or you've been at it for years, whether you're at a small church or a big church, whether you are in the country or you're downtown metro, you have got to learn to evaluate. And during this pandemic, I hope that you've really done some evaluating and you've looked at, hey, what do we think about what we were doing before? Are we happy with it? Was it going well? What have we learned through this pandemic and through this quarantine? And as all of a sudden, as a children's ministry, I've been forced into online ministry. What have I learned? What did we learn? Evaluate it. And I have a feeling that God probably through this pandemic has given you some new ideas, some ways that you can sharpen things up, some tweaks that you can make to get better. If you have not paused and really taken time to evaluate pre-COVID children's ministry and during COVID children's ministry, you owe it to yourself to evaluate. You can't come up with a plan for your volunteers and have a good comeback plan if you haven't evaluated, right? So really evaluate. What have we learned? And especially in regards, as we're talking about volunteers right now, I want you to think about this. What have we learned about volunteer management during COVID? What have we learned about how we communicate with our volunteers? What have we learned about their schedules, right? What have we learned about their commitments? Really ask yourselves some good questions. Number one, you need to evaluate. Number two, you must be patient. You must be patient. Returning from COVID-19 back to the new normal is a patience game. It's a patience game. Yes, you might have all of these grandiose plans. You might have all of these phases of, you know what, when we regather, this is going to happen, and this is going to happen, and this is going to happen. But you know what? It may not go exactly as you planned. And if so, that's okay. Be patient. It's a patience game. I'm going to give another $10 gift card to the first person that types that in Facebook right now. First person that types in Facebook in the comments, it's a patience game. Type it in. I don't have my phone to look at who's first, but I'll figure out who's first later. Or maybe Andy, if you're on here with me, or Angie, or someone from my team's on here, find out who's first and declare a winner. It's a patience game. Don't require everybody to conform to exactly your timetable and your grandiose plan. Listen, things don't always work as we planned. This is why you've got to learn to be flexible. To be flexible. You remember the green little guy? I feel like I forget his name. I don't know why Gummy is coming to mind. I don't know if that's his name or not. But the green little character used to be able to buy the toy and he would flex all around. You've got to be like that guy. You've got to have some flexibility. I know for some of you this is more difficult than Gumby. Thank you. I just got a text message. Gumby. Gumby is his name. I said Gummy, didn't I? I was close. Gumby. So for some of you, this is difficult. You are super structured, right? You've got these plans, but you've got to be flexible and be patient. For one reason, things keep changing and we just don't know what's going to happen, do we? I think if there's anything we've learned over the last couple months, we can make plans, but we don't know, right, what's going to happen. Be patient. Be patient. Number three, and this is important. Lisa Durant was the first one that posted, it's a patience game. Lisa, good job. You're going to get a $10 gift card, kidsmatter.com. Email me, ryan@kidsmatter.com. Please, Lisa, email ryan@kidsmatter.com. Put a Z in it like we've got right there, okay? And tell me that you want a $10 gift card. Engage your core team ASAP. ASAP. Now, I'm not talking about every volunteer. I'm talking about your core team. You need to be engaging your core team ASAP if you're not already engaging them. And you need to get them on board. Is leadership a dictatorship? No, not if you really want to grow a sustainable ministry, and not if you want to keep momentum up, and not if you want to keep morale at a level it needs to be, and not if culture counts to you. If having a good culture matters, and if you want to build a ministry that outlives you, then dictatorship should not exist, right? You need to have a core team of people that are sitting around the table with you, having some discussions. Now, as we think about a volunteer comeback plan, as you think about your dream team, as you think about your early childhood team, your elementary team, your programmers, your teachers, your security people, your nursery, your caregivers, as you evaluate your entire ministry and you think about how are we going to bring these people back and when, and how are we going to get them re-energized, one of the best things you can do is choose not to make these decisions yourself. Instead, include your core team. Include your core team. As you talk to your core team, here's the deal. Here's what I would do. I would get your core team talking to as many volunteers as they can. Don't put it all on yourself, okay? It's because at the end of the day, and if you've listened to very much of my training, you know this, it's all about relationships. It's all about relationships. Now, it's going to be impossible for you to make the connection that you need with every one of your volunteers, but your core team can help you get that done. And their leaders can help them get that done. And as you think about phases of who, when, where, why, how with your volunteers, don't go at it alone. Don't fly solo on this one. Now, there are some things that as a leader, they come back on you. Example, vision, right? Now, your vision always needs to be in alignment with your pastor's vision. We often talk about the vision of the house. Your vision as a children's ministry needs to be in alignment with the vision of the house. But God gives you a vision for your children's ministry as it aligns with the vision of the house and your pastor's vision. That vision is not something you can delegate. That vision is not something you can staff out. You, as a leader, own the vision for your ministry. But when you're making plans, and when you're talking comeback, and you're talking about reboots, in other words, we're going to reboot. We want to do some things to get these leaders fired back up. We got to start populating Planning Center again. Don't figure all this out on yourself. Don't put it all on yourself. Now, you might be thinking, Ryan, you don't understand. I'm at a small church. I don't have a team. Listen, everybody needs to have a team. And your team doesn't have to have 6 people on it. It doesn't have to have 8 people on it. Your team might have 1 person on it or 2. Don't worry about getting it up to the team of 6 people that you ideally want. Just work on that first person and pray that God will give you that first person for your team. And then once you've got that person, begin to pray and work toward that second person on your team. Engage your core team and engage them as soon as possible. Number 4, provide an intentional reboot for your volunteers. Now, I'm going to be brutally honest with you right now. I feel like I'm always brutally honest. It's not like I ever lie to you guys, ladies and gentlemen, but I'm going to be honest. I'm going to take a few minutes here and I'm going to tell you that I really believe your leaders need to be a part of Global Kidmin Day. Okay? Because Global Kidmin Day, let's get it up on the screen. Perfect, thank you. Global Kidmin Day is a way for you and your volunteers, for your ministry team to get that reboot, okay? Ryan, what's Global Kidmin Day? Global Kidmin Day happens on August the 8th. Here's the website, globalkidminday.com. Okay, Global Kidmin Day. This happens August the 8th, which is a Saturday. It happens at 9 a.m. your local time. My New Zealand friends, my Australian friends, my friends in the UK, my friends in China, my friends in Barbados, my friends in Hawaii, my friends in Colorado, my friends on the East Coast. Everybody starts at 9 a.m., whatever time you live in. Because here's the deal. This is like a simulcast, but it's not a true simulcast. In other words, it's video driven. I've assembled this team of speakers. It's a video event, but I'm delivering the video file to you a week, actually 10 days in advance. So you're going to have the video file 10 days in advance, which means the morning of, you're not sweating it. You're not relying on internet. All you need is your computer and a screen, a TV or a video projector, however you're going to project it out. Now, hundreds of you have already registered and signed up and committed to be part of Global Kidmin Day from literally all around the world, which is really sweet. I don't know if there's ever been an event like this. And when we announced this was all, we launched all this prior to COVID-19. And the idea was you could either purchase a watch pass for you and your church, or you could purchase a host pass where you invite other churches to come in and you're going to be a host. And so it's for your church and all these other churches. Now, then COVID-19 hit. So we are still doing Global Kidmin Day, and we are hoping that as many of the churches as possible can actually gather together, because it's really neat when you can get your volunteers to the church on a Saturday for a training, because we're building into the training times for group discussions, for your ministry leaders and personal reflection. But if it's not possible for your church to gather, what I'm going to do is I will provide for you a way. We'll walk you through this so that your team can participate from home. But you're really, I'm hoping. Now listen, if I have helped your ministry any, a lot of you have been following me for years and years. You've been subscribing to Kids Matter magazine for a long time. You come to my conference, you read my books. A lot of you have graduated from Kidmin Academy, my school. If I've helped you, here's how you can help me. You need to check out globalkidminday.com and then pray about participating, because it is a way for you to do an intentional reboot for your volunteers. Now, here's what you're going to find on the website. There's a welcome video from me. How are you going to participate? You can either get a watch pass or get a host pass. This is some copy on what we're going to talk about during Global Kidmin Day. We're adding content. We've revised our content to address post-pandemic children's ministry and race, cultural diversity, ethnic diversity, racial diversity in children's ministry. We just this morning posted the schedule, because we've had a lot of you asking, what are the speakers going to be speaking about? Esther Moreno is going to talk about children's ministry essentials, things that every volunteer needs to know, whether you work with 2-year-olds or 12-year-olds. My wife, Beth, is going to talk about making a place for everyone, despite ethnicity, if I said that right, despite race, despite special needs. How do you make a place for everyone in your classroom and in your children's ministry? Abby Kuntz, who's a licensed family therapist, is going to talk about ministry to anxious kids. We live in the age of anxiety, Time Magazine says. And it's not just us adults, it's even higher with kids. How does a Sunday school teacher, a small group leader, effectively help kids with anxiety, especially during this COVID pandemic? Beth is going to talk, or Abby is going to talk about that. Then we'll take time for group discussions and individual reflection. I've invited Ricardo Miller, Jonathan Banks, and Michael Pitts, 3 men with brilliant minds, and I may add to this panel with time. But we're going to do a roundtable. We're just going to have a brutally honest and open conversation about children's ministry and race. I've really felt compelled to do this. Session 4, Sean Lovelady is the senior pastor of a growing church in Carrollton, Georgia. This is Corey Jones' pastor. Corey is the co-host of the I Love Kidmin podcast, and he's got a special message for volunteers, ingredients to an effective kids ministry. He's just going to love on these volunteers as a senior pastor. I think you're going to really love it. Simon Perry from the UK is going to talk about simple ways to connect with digital kids. What can small group leaders and Awana leaders and kids worship leaders, and what can we all do to connect with these kids that are so connected to their devices? David and Becky Wakerley, kids pastors at Hillsong Church in Sydney, Australia, partnering with Parents 101. Then we're going to do more discussion, group discussion for you at your church and some individual reflection, and then I'll wrap things up. Here are our speakers. Go to the website, check it out. It's a lot. Well, and if you have any additional questions, please let us know. But my point in sharing this with you is this. Sorry, I stopped my video. The reason I'm sharing this with you is because you need to have an intentional reboot. Now, here's the deal. We have been in this time of this paranormal, if that's the right word. I mean, it's just been so weird this summer. And whether you are ready to regather in August or not, something like Global Kidmin Day, we're like, hey, we're going to reboot. We're pulling this back together. Fresh reminder for our ministry team that children's ministry matters. Let's all learn together. Maybe it's time for some new tees or some new swag for your children's ministry. Maybe it's time to refresh that logo for your children's ministry, or to introduce a new costume character or puppet or something. Maybe you need to buy everybody a book, or do some kind of a video training for them, or something to do and have an intentional reboot. Okay, I have a few more. Number 5, make a plan and start. Make a plan and start. What has God shown you over these last few months? What's God shown you over these last few months? Well, start acting. Just start. Well, Ryan, I'm scared. It's okay. Do it. Do it. Just take a step, right? Psalm 37:23 says that the steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord. I had Jim Weidman on the coffee chat last week, and he quoted this verse, and it stuck with me ever since. I mean, I shared it with our Sunday school class Sunday. I've been talking a lot about it. Psalm 37:23. The steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord. A lot of times we think in terms of leaps and jumps, and God wants us to think in terms of steps. So as you think about your plan and your vision, and especially in context of your volunteers, and how am I going to do a reboot? How am I prayerfully going to reignite this passion for children's ministry? Make some steps. Here's what I'm going to do today. Here's what I'm going to do next week. Here's my plan for the next couple of weeks. Here's our plan. And think in terms of steps. If you think in terms of steps, and then take the first step. What I've often found is the first step is the hardest. And then once I take that first step, it gets a ton easier. It gets a ton easier. Listen, as a Kidmin leader, you're really like a ship captain. What's the ship captain do? The ship captain, amongst other things, steers the ship. It's your responsibility to steer the ship of this children's ministry and keep your hands on the wheel. And as a captain, I'm looking ahead, right? And I'm looking beside me, and I'm looking behind me, and I'm watching out for danger, and I'm taking care of the people on the ship with me. And I am the captain of this ship. And I need to every day be working my plan. Plan your work and work your plan. Make a plan and start. Number 6, lean in on the community. I know this is difficult. A lot of you are really stressed out right now. I probably received 25 emails, Facebook messages, direct messages just in the last 2 days from Kidmin leaders like yourself that are stressed out in one sense or the other, or they're feeling a lot of pressure. They don't know what to do. They're launching and they just don't have enough help, or there's still so many uncertainties and expectations they don't know if they can meet. Lean in on the community. You're part of the I Love Kidmin Facebook group. Lean in on that, right? You subscribe to Kids Matter magazine. This is a lot of work putting this magazine together, right? We've been doing this for 15 years now. And trust me, we're not doing it because I'm getting rich on it. Printing a magazine is not cheap, right? It's a lot. It's an investment of our ministry resources to print this magazine. And why? But why are we doing it? Because I believe in leaning in on the community. Why am I putting content out on Facebook and YouTube and podcasts and Instagram and everywhere else all the time, multiple times a day? Because I want to encourage you to lean in on each other and lean in on me, lean in on the community. Don't go at it alone. Don't go at it alone. It's been said that knowledge is power. Let me tell you something. Shared knowledge is superpower. Okay. Yeah, knowledge is power. And I want every day, I want to be growing my knowledge base. Shared knowledge is superpower. It is superfood for the ministry soul. Lean in on the I Love Kidmin community. If you've got a question, or like, man, I tried this, or I'm wrestling through this, post it in the I Love Kidmin Facebook group. First of all, search to see if anybody else has started a discussion around this recently that you can jump in on. And if you can't find it, start a new post. But don't go at it alone. Don't go at it alone. Finally, number 7, pray for wisdom. As you develop a volunteer comeback plan, the good news is you don't have to do it all alone. You don't have to do it all alone. Jesus said, I am the vine. You are the branches, right? The idea is that you are connected to a power source. When you gave your life to Christ, the Holy Spirit took residence within you. Part of the Holy Spirit's ministry is to help you, to teach you, to illuminate truth to you, to counsel you, to comfort you. Lean in on the power of the Holy Spirit in your life. Get in the Word of God. Get in the book. Get on your knees. At times, literally on your face before the Lord and say, God, I need wisdom. This ministry, it's not mine. Yeah, my name's on the door, but this ministry is not mine. It's your ministry. And I don't want to go at this alone. You've said that unless you build the house, those that labor in vain. So don't go at it alone. Lean in on the community, and don't just lean in on the community. Lean in on the Lord. Friends, thank you for joining me. Andy's been monitoring Facebook for me. Thank you, Andy, from my team. And I've decided, sometimes I keep Facebook on my phone, but I wanted to make sure I covered all my content. Andy, so we've got a lot of questions about whether they absolutely have to do Global Kidmin Day on August 8th. The answer is no. The answer is no. And that's a great question. Thank you for asking. We want as many of you to do Global Kidmin Day as possible on August 8th, because it's kind of like, it's just the power of like one day where all around the world, all these nations are raising the flag that children's ministry matters. But no, you don't have to do it on August 8th because it is not a simulcast. In fact, I know of at least a dozen churches that are participating in Global Kidmin Day, and they're doing it the week after or 2 weeks after. Now, you can't really do it before because we're not going to give you the stuff until like 10 days before. I guess you could do it once you get the video. I don't care. We're not going to police it. But you can't do it much more than 10 days before because you're not going to have the content. But yeah, we don't care. We don't care. We're hoping as many of you as possible can do it on August 8th, just because we want social media to be buzzing all around the world that children's ministry matters. It's a global Kidmin Day. But at the end of the day, here's where my heart is. I want you to do an intentional reboot. I want to bring conference quality training to your children's ministry team. That's why we're doing it. So if you want to do it the next Tuesday, if you want to do it the second Tuesday of the next week, there aren't 2 Tuesdays in a week. If you want to do it later in the month, that is totally fine with me. I support that. I encourage it. I champion it the whole way along. We're going to provide, we've already begun to provide, great question, another question that's come in on tools. We will be providing tools to help you promote this already on Global Kidmin Day at the bottom of the website, globalkidminday.com. We have 2 social media links for you to share. We're going to create more. We're going to come up with like 8 or 10 of these. We'll also, if you want the logo, email us. We'll give you the logo so you can start. If you want to put this on your church website, drop it in the bulletin or the newsletter. In fact, Andy, let's make a note of this. Andy, help me with this. Let's add to the bottom of that website. Here's our logo, where people can just copy and paste it or download it to their computer so they can have the logo to use on their internal promotions. Any way we can help you promote it, we'll promote it. If you need me to make a video and, hey, this is Ryan, and along with your children's pastor, Pastor Shannon, really want to hope that you'll come. Email me. I'll make a video for you. I'll do whatever I can to help your leaders get there. Now we have made significant financial investments in Global Kidmin Day. I talked to you about the investments we make in this magazine, and another one of our largest investments for 2020 is Global Kidmin Day. And so I need you to get behind this, not only because your volunteers need it, but because we're really literally banking on as many of you getting your watch passes and host passes as possible, because we have so many speakers that we need to give honorariums to. We're promoting this. We're putting a lot of resources into the video for the day, a lot of prizes day of, and so on. So as you know, when you do things like this, it costs a lot of money. So thank you to those of you that have already gotten behind it to support it. If you have any questions about Global Kidmin Day, please, please, please let us know. Once again, the website is globalkidminday.com. Thanks for joining me for today's training. Hope that it was a blessing and a help to you as we talked about your volunteer comeback plan. Friends, it's been great. If you want to stay connected, jump over to ryanfrank.com. All of my social media stuff is there. So if you've heard me talk about my podcast or my YouTube or Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or any of these places, find all those links at ryanfrank.com. Kidsmatter.com with a Z is another good one. Lots of great downloads. That game at the beginning, Look the Other Way. Super, super fun game. Don't miss out on that one. A lot of you are downloading that game right now. It's featured on the homepage. You'll see it at kidsmatter.com. Look the Other Way. Friends, I have loved being with you. Was this training a help to you? What was one of your big takeaways from this training? If you would leave a comment and let me know, it would mean the world to me. I'm going to read every one of your comments later on today, and I would love to read your comments. Let me know what one of your big takeaways was from this short training today. All right, friends, thanks for joining me. We will talk soon.